I made a comic book and the Indiegogo launches in 2 days, so get hype and watch until the end of the video to learn more. So it looks like Tremor actually can switch variations in the middle of a match. And this discovery inspired me to take an in-depth look at every single one of his attacks, and you won't believe what this guy can do. Today we have the pleasure of reviewing Tremor's attacks early, and there's 8 different attacks in total, which means Tremor has more attacks than any other Kameo in the game so far, and keep in mind we haven't seen all of them, which is just crazy to think about. I think Tremor may shake things up in Mortal Kombat 1. That pun was unintentional, but it's nice when things work out. And if you enjoy character breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. It helps my channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's begin. The first attack we see from Tremor is a simple launcher, but it's great for extending combos and also a summon attack. And in case you're not familiar with the lingo of Mortal Kombat 1, let's get that out of the way right here and now. Every Kameo character in Mortal Kombat 1 has 2 different attack types, and the main difference is a summon Kameo has your main character stand still for a brief moment while summoning the Kameo, whereas the ambush attack does not. As the name implies, both characters can move simultaneously. The main character never has to stop moving. And once again, this first attack is a summon. However, there's something interesting about it already, and that's the fact that you can jump cancel out of it, which is not the case for a lot of combo extenders in this game. So already that's pretty cool, and Tremor actually does this attack twice, once in each trailer. But now it's time for a fun fact. This attack is actually a direct reference to Mortal Kombat X. It's Tremor's down back 2, and then you hold up during the attack. And now it's time for attack number 2, and this one's an ambush, which once again means the main character can keep moving during the animation. The player is not forced to stand still, which is already really cool. And then on top of that, this move juggles the opponent to allow for further follow-up attacks. If you look closely, it's actually very similar to Scorpion's Kameo assist. However, it only hits once, which means it might actually do more damage and have less combo damage scaling, which is awesome. To explain this simply, every attack in a combo does less damage the longer the combo goes on for. So the fact that Tremor's air extender only hits once is actually a good thing and should lead to more combo damage overall. However, with that said, it's likely this move only hits opponents that are in the air or in a crumple state, so just keep that in mind. It's gonna do good damage and be great for combo extension, but it won't hit the opponent if they're just standing on the ground. And unlike the first Kameo attack, I don't believe this move is a reference to Mortal Kombat X. I've never seen it before. But now it's time for attack number 3, a combo ender from Tremor that sends the opponent full screen, which means this Kameo attack could be great for zoning or even ending corner combos for some guaranteed pressure. And once again, this move is actually a reference to Mortal Kombat X. It's Tremor's down back 2, and it looks really versatile. And in fact, I'm wondering if this move might be good on block or even have armor if done as a wake up. Because keep in mind, many Kameo characters do have a wake up attack that keeps your main character safe. Alright, but attack number 4 is where things get really interesting. It hits 3 different times and pushes the opponent away. And during the trailer, it's used as a whiff punish, likely because this move has a lot of range. And on top of that, judging by the animation, I would not be surprised if this move hits low for a tricky mix-up, which would be fantastic if your main character has a bunch of overheads. Now you can swap this out for a low, and it's a tricky little mix-up. And once again, keep in mind this attack hits 3 times, so I'm wondering if it's really good on block with a lot of pushback, because 3 hits, it's gotta be great on block, right? Oh boy, but next up we have the craziest attack in the entire trailer. It's much more than meets the eye. At first glance, Tremor simply rolls a metal ball at the opponent, and Omni-Man flies in to extend the combo after it hits, which is already pretty strong. Keep in mind that this move is an ambush. Omni-Man never freezes and strikes opposed, which means Tremor can do this move whenever you want to. Fantastic stuff right there. However, here's where things get crazy. If you look closely, Tremor actually flashes white. And that's a super important detail that a lot of players missed. When a player flashes white in Mortal Kombat 1, that means they spent meter. Or in other words, it's a meter burn attack, or an enhanced attack, an EX attack, whatever you want to call it. The point is, Tremor has a Kameo attack that you can spend meter on to alter its properties, which is sick. Because believe it or not, there aren't many Kameo characters in Mortal Kombat 1 who can do that. They don't have meter burn attacks for the most part, so already Tremor's pretty rare. But here's the craziest part by far. Tremor is actually changing variations during this meter burn. Or in other words, we have confirmation that Tremor can switch between his variations in the middle of a match. However, it cost a meter. And I just gotta say, what a smart move by NetherRealm, because if Tremor could just switch variations on the fly and have a bunch of different attacks, he'd be way too good. But the fact that he has to spend a meter to switch variations makes it a bit more balanced, but here comes the million-dollar question. Will this meter burn attack cost 1 bar or 2 bars of meter? Because that small detail could make or break this move. If it only costs 1 bar, then players could use it all the time. However, if it costs 2 bars, you're not going to see it used as often, and in fact, it might not even be worth it. If it costs 2 bars just to change, that might be a bit much. And then on top of that, we have no clue which variation Tremor starts off in, right? Judging by the intro animation, I'm guessing he starts off in the Aftershock variation. Unless NetherRealm does the unthinkable and lets us choose which variation we start off in, but for now, let's just assume that he starts in Aftershock by default no matter what. If that does turn out to be the case and Metallic is actually his best variation, then of course the player is going to save meter to switch into it, but now imagine it costs 2 bars, would it even be worth it? And could that make Tremor a really bad cameo just instantly? Because now the only way to get into his best variation is to wait and save up 2 bars. That's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of players, and that's why my fingers are crossed that it's only 1 bar of meter. But alright, now it's time for the next attack, a straightforward lava blast. It's not as flashy or interesting as the previous cameo ability. However, that being said, I would not be surprised if this move is actually a wake-up tool to get the opponent off of you. It likely has invincibility. And then think about this, judging by the animation, it might even restand an airborne opponent, and if that's the case, how cool would that be? But next up, let's talk about Tremor's throw. Yes, throws are pretty consistent in this game, but Tremor's is unique because it leaves the opponent really close to you. And then on top of that, keep in mind the cameo throws actually vary in damage quite a lot, so it could be that Tremor's throw does more damage than average. Or it could be the opposite, maybe Tremor's throw does the lowest damage in the game. That would suck, and judging by the animation, it's a giant boulder, I bet it does some decent damage. Because come on, it's Tremor we're talking about here, but could he dethrone Sonya and have the most damaging throw in the game? That would be pretty sick. And yes, I know that Jax technically has the highest damage if you spend 2 bars, but meterless, Sonya is still the queen of damage. No matter what the case may be, the fact that Tremor's throw leaves the opponent close to you is going to be great for rushdown characters. Oh, and then on top of that, what if the variations actually change Tremor's throw, or at least change the effects of it? Like maybe it does more damage or has more pushback? How cool would that be? Can you imagine if NetherRealm actually gave Tremor 3 different throws, or at the very least, the rock he throws changes color based on his variation? How sick would that be? In the metallic variation, it turns gold, and then in the crystalline variation, it turns like a shiny green. How cool would that be? Maybe I'm jumping the gun, maybe that's not likely to happen, but what can I say? I'm a dreamer. How cool would that be? And now finally, it's time for Tremor's last attack, and the only one we see in his crystalline variation. This attack is very unique because it's a reflect, or in other words, it's the only defensive attack we've seen in the entire trailers. However, unlike Motaro and some other cameo attacks in the game that reflect, it's not an ambush. It is a summon, which means your main character can't move freely and does pause in place for a brief moment. And then on top of that, we can't tell how fast this reflect is. If it's instant, then it could be really good, because as we see in this trailer, it can lead to full combos by hitting the opponent in the face with their own projectile and then Omni-Man flies in right behind it. You could easily do the exact same thing with characters like Sub-Zero and any character with a far-reaching special move. Oh yeah, and this move is also a reference to Tremor in Mortal Kombat X. I think in that game it's down back X, but it does not reflect projectiles, it just destroys them instead. And also don't forget, this is the only attack we see in Tremor's crystalline variation, which means there's definitely more, and I'm really curious what the other attacks might be. Because for anyone not aware, Crystalline Tremor had the most infamous move in all of Mortal Kombat X, where he flexed on the opponent and got armor. It was so sick. And obviously in Mortal Kombat 1, he's not going to armor himself, so if this move does return for the current game, that means he likely buffs the main character instead. And if that turns out to be the case, then Tremor's just top 1 cameo instantly, okay? You don't understand how powerful it is to give a character 1 free hit of armor. That's crazy. But as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Tremor's attacks in Mortal Kombat 1? Does he look fun to play? Does he look overpowered? Let me know your thoughts, grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. And then while you're down there, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, I made a comic book. Stay underdogs. That's right, a comic book inspired by fighting games and written for fighting game players. The characters were designed by me, I wrote the script, and I found an incredible artist to illustrate the whole thing. The Indiegogo launch is just 2 days away, and oh man, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have trading cards, t-shirts, posters, and so much more. So please stay tuned until the official launch, and also spread the word to everyone you know, everyone who loves fighting games, to everyone who loves comic books. This project means so much to me. It's taken over a year to create, and I cannot wait to share it with you all.